Hey, it's Abby Winslow, and today I am sharing my 5-minute faith builder experience all about charity and how I learned the true meaning of what it takes to be a charitable person. We learn from the scriptures that charity is the pure love of Christ. And somebody once taught it to me like this, and it's stuck with me forever. It said, charity is the love for Christ, it is love from Christ, and it is loving for Christ. So to me, I've always thought of charity as those three ways. And I've always thought of charity of just being a good person and loving other people and feeling the grace and love from God, and like we're a charitable person, right? Well, I want to share with you a story on how I learned that one part of charity, at least for me, is loving those that are hard to love. And that comes into the part of loving for Christ. So once upon a time, I wanted to be a teacher. I thought that I had a heart big enough to be an educator. Not the case, because my mom was a teacher, and so I asked if I could student teach with her. She said yes, and so I started student teaching, and within like 2 days, I learned that while I love kids, I'm like so on people, and just like it was more than I could handle, and it was a lot of work. And you teachers out there, I have so much respect for you because I tried it for like a month. Well, as I was in my student teaching with my mom, she took me aside and told me about some of these students in confidence, because as a teacher, as an educator, it's really important to know, this student needs a little extra help in this area, or this student's having a hard time with their life right here. And so, we want to help and support them in any way possible. And so my mom told me about a student, and we were going to call her Sarah for this example. And she told me that Sarah was an orphan, that she was being raised by her grandma, and that she really wasn't getting what she needed from home. And my mom thought that because she was always starving, she was always like stealing stuff from other students' desks, and it just wasn't this best situation for this poor student. And so, of course, in my mind, I am like, I will love this little orphan. And I just pictured little like orphan Annie, who is so sweet and so cute and just so lovable. And I can be that person, right? That loves this little orphan. Well, as life happens, this student, Sarah, was not easy to love. She was not cute, adorable little orphan Annie. She smelled bad because she didn't bathe regularly. She would make outbursts in class. She would steal stuff. She would hit other students. She was like the problem child that you hear about all the time, and just so hard to work with. And you like couldn't take your eyes off of her for a second because you just didn't know what she was going to do. And so one day I had finished teaching up a lesson and the recess bell rang, and I was so grateful because it was just such a hard lesson, and I was having such a hard time getting the kids to listen and participate. And my mom left to go run off some papers. And so I was gathering my stuff, the kids are leaving for recess, and as I walk back to my mom's desk, I see Sarah there. And I said, Sarah, you need to go outside and you need to go play for recess. And she turned around in my mom's chair, and I saw that she had taken my mom's lunch and was eating her donut. And we had stopped that morning specifically and got a special treat of a donut. And so it's like all in Sarah's mouth, and she's eating my mom's lunch. And I said, Sarah, stop. What are you doing? First of all, you can't just eat somebody else's donut, right? Well, right then my mom came back in, and I was so grateful because I thought, this is I'm going to see some disciplinary action, that I don't have to do, but I'm going to see it from a pro. So I said, Mom, will you come over here? And I said, Sarah over here has eaten your lunch, and what would you like to do about that? And I will never forget, my mom looked at her and she said, Baby Angel, are you hungry? And that just totally caught me off guard, because one, this young woman was the furthest thing from a baby angel you have ever met in your life. But then my mom proceeded to grab the rest of her lunch and say, here, I have an apple, I have a granola bar. What of these items would you like to eat? And my heart, my life was forever changed by that moment, because I saw the greatest example of charity. And I realized in that moment that Charity counts the most when it's the hardest to give. It's easy to love adorable, cute little orphan Annies in our life. It's easy to love our family members when they're being so sweet and kind to us. It's easy to love people that think like us. And I think that, yes, we need to love them, and that's a form of charity, but I believe, and I learned from my mother, that charity counts the most when it's hardest to give. And those people that need it the most, need the love of Christ the most, are going to be hard for us to love. And so my challenge for you this week is to reach out and truly love for Christ, because Christ loved the unlovable. He loved the people who were sinners, the people that others had outcast. These are the people that need charity the most. So in talking about charity, I hope that you remember that it's three things. It's the love that we have for Christ, it's the love we feel from Christ, and it's loving for Christ. And that as you go about this week and people eat your donuts, people cut you off in traffic, people say rude things, people dismiss you or belittle you, I hope that you can remember to have charity and love towards everybody. I'm Abby Winslow, and this is my 5-minute faith builder experience on charity.